Alright, what's up? This is an addendum to the previous video, and I'm doing this because it's come clear that my point has not been made well enough, and that's my fault. There's only so much you can say in 10 minutes. I would hook up my camera and do a longer video, but I don't know where it is. So, pardon me. And this is brought to my attention by an exchange I've been having by someone by the name of Non-Anti-Anarchist, and I'm sure he thinks I'm angry at him, but I'm not, even though he was being kind of a douche and said something that normally I would have blocked him for, but the conversation has been interesting, so I won't. Alright. This is how it starts. First of all, this is what he's saying. First of all, most of what Confederal Socialist says about restrictive covenants concerns how public services would exist sans free riders, i.e. we're not going to physically harm you if you don't contribute, but we'll deny you the benefits of association with us. And he didn't say that they would all have to think alike. It's just that the members of a restrictive covenant would have to agree on certain norms necessary to society, such as not killing each other, not stealing, etc. You are either purposely misrepresenting the idea of this restrictive covenant, or you just don't fucking understand that that doesn't make any sense. Because if all you're saying is we're going to form a group of people that say it's not okay to steal and kill, then we already have that. It's called the rule of law that we all live under. There's no change there. It's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. So no, that's not what restrictive covenants are for, because if that's all you wanted was a group of people where they say you're not going to steal or kill, then you wouldn't need to create some new system. It's already there. It exists. It's around you as I speak. I said that's BS. If the only concern is that people don't steal or kill each other, then why would you need a restrictive covenant? 99.999% of people are against stealing and killing. Roughly. Give me a break, alright? No, the true nature of the restrictive covenant is separation, because we already have a system that keeps people from robbing and killing. It's called the law, so what the fuck is the point of your restrictive covenant? He responds, if 99% of the population were truly against stealing and killing, our government would avoid 99% of all taxes, regulations, debts, and foreign entanglements it's imposed upon us. First of all, the government hasn't imposed anything on you. That's a myth and a lie. The government doesn't impose anything on you. We are the government. All of us. The government doesn't impose shit. Okay? But there's a key point in here, which is a point that a lot of anarchists share. I'm trying not to generalize, because if you're not part of this group, please don't fucking get mad at me. And I'm trying to be careful about that. Is this idea that taxations are inherently theft? And I don't agree with that. And I said that I reject the concept that taxation is theft. He says, great, prove it. Tell me your reasons why the state has this magical authority to do what no private individual can do that makes it any different from the mafia, Afghan warlords, or a gang. Whatever. Anyway, I respond, you are the one making the claim, so I'm not required to provide proof, but regardless, taxation is not theft because we live in a democracy where through the democratic process you can change or repeal laws, even taxes. When the king collects taxes and you have no form of appeal, that is theft. When a government made legitimate by the people it governs collects taxes for services rendered at rates determined ultimately by the people, it's not theft. And he goes to say, as for determined by the people, do you mean determined by the majority? Is there some magical force field binding people in a country together and a tipping point at which the majority agrees on a view that counts as everyone? Okay. This is where we hit the divide, alright? This is the problem, okay? So your problem with democracy is the majority ends up winning, usually. The majority can change if people actually go out and do something. Amazing, actually participating in the political process. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Wow, a lot of people were against the Iraq War. If they had gotten together and voted, Bush wouldn't have gotten reelected in 2004. But they didn't, because we're fucking lazy. And that's not a failure of the system, that's a failure of you. Okay? Get that through your head. But that's not important, because what's happening here is you're against democracy because the majority ends up, you lose sometimes. That's your problem. Which essentially what this boils down to is, I don't always get what I want. Okay, that's really what this fucking boils down to. And if you have a problem with that concept, then obviously you are not familiar with life, because you don't always get fucking everything you want. Okay, there has to be fucking compromise. You win sometimes, you lose sometimes. You can't win all the time. But you have a solution, and this is the problem I have. This is where we cross into tyranny and oppression. This is when we cross the line. Because what is your solution to eliminating the problem of people losing? Well, you remove the people who would lose, or the people who would win. You remove them from the area. You say fuck them. Then you don't have any dissension. Yes, no dissension. You haven't fixed anything. You've made the problem fucking worse. You don't think it's a little bit disruptive to society to remove people that don't fucking agree with you? And this is the other point that people just can't seem to get through your fucking heads, is that, yeah, okay, force is bad, like actual threat of violence is bad, but saying if you don't agree with us, we're not going to trade with you and all this other shit is also bad. That is potentially just as destructive. Okay? If you can't understand that, then you're fucked, man. If the people around me decided, since they don't agree with me on whatever, just a hypothetical thing, that they're not going to let me buy stuff from them, and they're not going to sell things to me, and they're not going to give me a job, I'd be pretty fucked, wouldn't I? Seems pretty fucked up, doesn't it? Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with force, but here's the issue. You do, okay? But you don't have a problem with force if you're the one doing it, okay? And you don't seem to realize what you're doing. You're saying that because I agreed to it, fuck them, you know? I don't know how this can be said anymore. And at one point he said, oh, bullshit, I participate in the system, because I said something that, you know, if you don't participate in the system, you know, that doesn't mean it's broken. He said, oh, bullshit, I participate in the system in the only way it allows me to, by voting. So I voted for a divided government because I think the worst thing for this country is for either party to be in total control. But there was really no major party candidate for someone who's against massive debts, burdensome taxes, monetary manipulation by an institution backed by the federal government, and foreign entanglements. Man, there's no one that was on the national ticket that was available for election in the primaries last time. Not a single person I can think of off the top of my... Oh, wait, there was! Someone who agrees with all the things you just said. Ron Paul! Holy shit! Guess what? You're not an anarchist. You're a fucking Republican libertarian, man. Congratulations. Holy shit. Imagine that. It's right there in front of you. But you don't give a fuck. You don't care because you don't want to try. You know, if your argument is we're never going to be able to fix the problems of democracy, then please explain to me how your immensely more complicated restructuring of society into these restrictive covenants is going to work. It wouldn't. If people are just that fucking stupid, then why even care? Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the fucking show. I don't know, man. My mind is blown. For most of you anarchists, I like you, okay? I think most of you are pretty smart, and I can agree with a lot of the ideas you have. But if you can't see what's wrong with the ideas of these restrictive covenants, and if you cannot see the thought loops in some of your theories and whatnot, then I can't fucking help you. You know, so have a good night. I'll see you people later.